Well, hello, everybody. This is Jim Graham, and I'm really, really excited for this webinar for you today. When it comes to webinars, and I do a lot of them, there are very few people that impress me when it comes to they're doing webinars. And we're going to talk about today the easiest and fastest way to make money in 90 minutes using webinars. But I'm actually not going to be doing the teaching and the sharing. I'm going to introduce to you Taryn Ashley, who has actually managed and run over 15,000 webinars in the last 15 years. And that is a huge, huge feat for anyone, let alone anyone that I've ever met. And I've never met anyone that has run that many webinars. Now, what's more important about Taryn is not only the number of webinars she's run, it's who her client list is. And her client list is absolutely enormous. In fact, most of you will recognize these names when she starts to talk about them. These are her clients, the people that she works with on a daily basis. In fact, some of them, she does upwards of 50 webinars a day with these clients of hers. And these are the top marketers around the planet. Now, the reason why I want you to know this stuff is because she is absolutely the best of the best of the best when it comes to webinars, and has the credibility and the know-how and the staff and the energy to be able to help you take your business to the next level. So Taryn, are you there?
I am. Hello, hello.
Well, welcome to the webinar, Taryn. Guys, you're in for a treat. A couple little housekeeping things. If you have any questions right now, I'm going to turn on the Q&A so that you can ask questions throughout. And at the end, we'll try to answer those questions. And Taryn, take it away.
Alrighty. Well, hello, everyone. I'm Taryn Ashley, and I am here today to share some incredible information with you. The easiest and fastest way I know how to make money online in just 90 minutes. What you can really call is fast cash at your fingertips. So there's really no other way that is faster to be able to earn this kind of money so quickly thanks to webinars. And I just want to take a moment and thank Jim so much for having me on with you guys today. It is an honor and a pleasure. Again, I'm Taryn Ashley. You can see that's me right there. A little bit of background on me is, so I've been in the online and webinar marketing industry since 1999. I've been supporting my clients and involved with them and actually helping them profit over $150 million in revenue since 1999. And so, you ask how I do it. Well, I've been the service provider, and I've been supporting them and been managing their webinars. In fact, I've actually run over 50 webinars in a single day for my clients. Now, some of you might be wishing you could run a webinar a week, which would be about 50 webinars a year. In my case, that was 50 webinars in one day. So I've done well over 15,000 since I've started, and I'm able to do it all from home, and I have no schedule, and I have the freedom to work from wherever I wish. And you know what? That is all thanks to webinars, and I can do this and have a nice business. It's basically like an ATM machine. So working for my clients by the hour, I realized while they're making tens of thousands by the hour, and I'm literally making an hourly rate. And I realized that they were making all the money while I'm doing all the work and managing it all for them. And it didn't make sense. And I thought, well, why couldn't I do it too? Why couldn't I teach based on all the webinars that I've been managing, 15,000 of them? I have a pretty good idea of how they're supposed to run. And I knew which ones were the winners and which ones were being used time and time again and which ones were the flops. So some of my clients are A-list marketers from around the globe. There's Frank Kern right there. One of my clients, he is a successful internet marketer from the United States and is considered by many to be one of the top gurus in internet marketing space today. He has generated $1.4 million in orders in 4 hours and $18.3 million in orders in less than 24 hours. And listen to this, $1.4 million in 54 minutes. At $10,000 a person without the use of affiliates. And here's another one, Ryan Dice. He is another A-list from the United States that we do a ton of work for. He's the co-founder of Idea Incubator and CEO of digitalmarketer.com. He himself has invested over $50 million on marketing tests and generated tens of millions of unique visitors, sent well over 1 billion permission-based emails. He's run approximately 3,000 split and multivariant tests, and he is a highly sought-after speaker and consultant whose work has impacted over 200,000 businesses in 68 different countries. Then there's Eben Pagan. He's an American entrepreneur as well, author and speaker. He sold over $100 million worth of training and products. And we've got another one, Kent Clothier. By the age of 23, he was running a $50 million a year business that grew it to 1.8 billion. Yes, that's billion with a B by 30. He is the nation's #1 real estate wholesaling expert and has over 17,000 students worldwide, just himself. These clients, just between the 4 of them, have produced more than $500 million. And that's a lot. I'm going to ask you, how many of you would like to know how to make more money in 90 minutes than you actually can in 1 year? And believe me, you can. In fact, some of my clients have made well over $500 million in 90 minutes. So let's see. I'm going to look for some hands. Yep, I see them going up. Awesome, awesome, great, thanks. So guys, you are in luck. You're in the right place. I'm going to share with you how to do it so that you can do it yourself. So how many of you have put together a PowerPoint or for like a school project or company presentation and felt like it just didn't have the oomph that it needed? And how many of you are afraid of speaking in public? Well, with webinars, they are the perfect way to speak publicly without actually being seen. No one will ever see that you're scared to death. No one will ever know that behind the scenes, maybe you're shaking in your boots and thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. Can I do this? Because it's all hidden behind your computer. So take into mind everyone that you know who's a professional speaker, a guru, and you think that they just shine in their presentations and on stage. They've got the charisma, the energy, they talk effortlessly through their whole presentation. Just know they all started somewhere. And I have to tell you what, webinars are absolutely the place to get started because you don't have to worry about anyone judging you publicly. They can't see the worry on your face. They don't know that you're in an absolute panic or that you may have sweaty palms or feeling clammy. They can't publicly humiliate you or see that you maybe don't know what you're doing quite yet. They can't tell that you might be feeling nauseous or having anxiety or feelings of panic. Did you know that the idea of making a presentation in public is the #1 fear reported by people in the United States? So guys, I have to tell you, you are not alone. So I want to ask, is it okay if you can't be a public speaker, you can do webinars instead? You don't have to be seen, but again, we'll talk more about that later. What I'm going to be sharing with you today is how to create an emotional slideshow to get more buyers, how to create a winning presentation that will make you more money in 1 day than you could make in an entire year, and how to sell 1 to 1,000, and how to set up your business so that it's running 24/7 while you're not. How many of you have an automated business right now? It's like what I like to call an automated ATM machine. Well, I'm going to share with you how I do it and also some sneaky secrets that no one else would ever share with you. So let's talk about some real life statistics. In 2007, in order to reach a prospect, it would take about 3.5 cold call attempts. Now, in 2015, it would take just about 8 cold call attempts. So what does that mean? Well, you need to get people to webinars so that you don't have to make so many attempts. we're talking about using social media, mailings, networking to get people to come to a webinar instead of meeting them one-on-one, because it's just so much harder today to reach that prospect. So let's talk about what are the important aspects of a presentation when you're doing a webinar. Well, here's what it comes down to. 63% of your viewers remember the stories and about 5% remember the statistics. So go ahead and stay away from those statistics. They're not going to really help you that much. Now let's talk about purchasing decisions just for a minute. I want to really make this stand out for you guys. 70% of buyers want their problems solved. That means that the reason they are seeking out something to purchase is because they're trying to solve a problem. So speaking to that is huge, absolutely huge. And here's some more proof that webinars aren't going anywhere anytime soon. 55% of webinar registrants viewed the webinar recording. This is more than half of the people that registered for a webinar. They're actually going to the recording and not live. I want that to sink in for you guys, and I want you to really think about that. That's something extremely important that we'll also go over a little bit more later. 65% of audiences are visual learners, so make sure that you have a presentation when you're doing a webinar. And 52% of all marketers found a customer via Facebook. Isn't that interesting? And also this year alone, companies will be spending $135 billion on just digital marketing collateral. So what does this mean, you ask? Well, you are absolutely in the right place because people are buying digitally. They want a visual experience, and this is exactly what a webinar can give them. You can find your customers via Facebook, and we're going to share with you how you can actually have these recordings so that you get the maximum bang out of your 90-minute time spent. So, why do webinars? Well, you can make more money in one webinar than you can sweating it out all year. You can do more in 90 minutes than you can anything else. I don't care if you're a bus driver or you make $1 million a year. Some people have made $1 million in 90 minutes, and I tell you what, I know those people. You can do joint ventures with other people selling their products or their list and get out to so many people. Listen to this. You can grow your list exponentially by joint venturing and make money hand over fist by selling other people's products. And you can cover the globe with one webinar. If you do it at the right time, you can get from Sydney to London. That is 2/3 of the globe with just one webinar. Isn't that amazing? So now you can present to way more people than actually going to some seminar somewhere and creating more and more seminars. No more travel costs for anyone, no more renting a room, no more airfare. You can do a seminar, no problem, but the presentation you'd be giving in a seminar is the same one you'd be using for a webinar. And this is without, you could do this in a webinar without the costs. And you can test your webinars first for sales before you go into a live room and potentially blow it. So another great thing about webinars is there's literally no costs. You could do a seminar for a whole weekend, maybe get 50 people in a room, spend $4,000 plus in cost, travel, food, hotel, everything else. And with webinars, you don't have to pay for your staff or support staff for an entire weekend's worth of work or an AV crew. There's no unions to deal with huge costs. Or listen to this. Like I said, you can just do a webinar and it costs you nothing, which is huge, absolutely huge. This is a big one. Here's your choice. 50 people in a room, work really hard advertising your seminar, get people in there, scheduling it. Think about what happens if people don't show up. What happens if they're maybe overbooked the room for your event? What happens if the support staff gets sick, or you've got all of these expenses with a seminar versus none with a webinar? Who wants this? You spend thousands of dollars on an event and no one shows up. So with webinars, it doesn't require your attendees to spend a lot of money to participate either. A lot of people don't have the money these days to go to a seminar. You're going to them. They don't have to come to you, and they don't have to take time out of work. They don't have to arrange for childcare for their kids. It's only 90 minutes out of their weekend versus a full 2 or 3 days all day. And your attendees can do it from the convenience of their own home as well. So think about it. What type of products could you sell from a webinar? Well, I want to impress this upon you as well before we go into this, is the type of product that you sell from a webinar will absolutely dictate the kind of lifestyle that you have. And guys, that's a big one. So you could choose what type of products and services to sell online. Well, there's audio, there's video, downloadable products, physical products, software. With audio products, you've got podcasts and audiobooks and audio recordings, maybe music. With the downloadable products, you've got PDF documents, maybe ebooks. With the physical ones, you could sell your own products or services. And then with affiliate products, you could do, reselling products or services of others or JVs. And then there's software. This is the absolute most lucrative. You've got membership areas where you can charge on a monthly basis, or there's games. So creating and selling your own products gives you more profit, but you must be prepared to manage and deliver. You can have affiliates sell your products for you. And also, things to consider. Listen, try not to trade your time for money. The point is to automate your sales. Listen, if you sell 6 one-on-one coaching calls for $297, then you are still charging out a $50 an hour rate, and you limit the potential of your revenue. To make $10,000 a month, you would have to sell 33 packages a month and deliver on 200 hours, which isn't possible at all. And so it would be better to sell 6 one-hour webinars for $297 and sell it to, let's say, 1,000 people, making you $297,000. And you only have to create 6 webinars. So if you think about it, let's say each webinar is 1 hour long. So multiply that by 6. So that's, let's say, an average of just 6 hours of your time versus 200. I tell you what, if given the choice, I would choose the 6 hours over the 200. And so what price point? Well, there's $97 for a product, there's $197, there's $497, there's $797. Then these price points in a payment plan will give you recurring income, for example, $497 a month, or let's say $97 and 6 more payments of $97. And another big tip, once you make the sale, make sure you have an upsell straight away after they've purchased and an exit pop on the sales page. You only need 1,000 sales at $97 a month, and you will be at $1.2 million a year. And let's say if they buy up, you could make up to 30% more revenue. And if they exit, you could make 12% more. Either way, you win. So I want you to picture this: making more money in 90 minutes than you would over the next 6 months, and having more time and more freedom to do the things you want to do. That's what it's about, guys. It doesn't matter if you want to be on the beach with your laptop or you prefer to spend more time with your family. Maybe you want to go on some holidays around the world. You could do all of that and still do webinars. I'll tell you what, in fact, my clients have been known to be on vacation and log in and have their webinars started doing it like live, which again, we'll talk a little bit about that later. So I'm going to share with you the easiest way to create an emotional slideshow to get you more buyers. And what I mean by emotional is You have to get the audience involved in the experience. What that means is we have to have inflection in our voice, and we have to have the ups and the downs. We have to help people feel how we feel. So let's, for instance, stress with bills. Anybody been in this situation before? Well, no more. Just do a webinar. So how do you make money these days? Well, the traditional way was working with someone one-on-one. How many of you have been to Starbucks and actually seen maybe 2 or 3 business people talking one-on-one meetings? They're actually having their sales calls or something like that, right? Well, they're doing it one-on-one. I tell you what, since I started doing webinars and realizing how important these webinars are, I don't meet with anyone one-on-one anymore. I don't have to. If I'm going to sell, I'm going to go after 1,000 people online, get them to a webinar, and then make about 15 to 20% closure rate on those webinar sales. So, for instance, if I can have 1,000 people on a webinar, and I'll just say a 15% of those people buy, that's 150 sales. Now imagine, how many one-on-one meetings would you have to have in order to make 150 sales? I don't have time for that, and neither do you. How many of you are not making enough money but still working so hard, and you want a new way that could literally allow you to make more in 90 minutes than an entire year? Well, like I said, the traditional way was working with someone one-on-one. Well, no more, guys. I want to share something with you. A cost comparison of meeting with 100 people at Starbucks doing those one-on-one meetings. You've got the cost of lost productivity at $200. You've got your gas, $5, cups of coffee, $20, time waiting, $20, childcare. It all adds up. Let's say $298 for that one-on-one meeting. Well, you multiply that by 100, that's $29,800. And that is 1 month of your time. So that's this full time. That's 5 meetings a day, which is about 20 days, assuming everybody shows up as well. And all this. And let's say you're not meeting with a decision maker. Has this ever happened to you where you've met with a completely wrong person and you've just wasted that hour or that hour and a half or that time and all that money? So on the flip side, cost of meeting 100 people on a webinar. You've got cost of electricity for your laptop, maybe 13 cents. You've got the internet connections, which you already have, the webinar platform, that could be free. So your total cost, let's say 13 cents. This is a huge difference. I'll take the 13 cents versus the 29,000 all day long. And all it takes is 90 minutes. You're meeting with 100 people in 90 minutes versus that 1 month of time and wasted hours and wasted money. So the new way, that's what we want to talk about. The new way is with webinars. And I'm telling you, this is really the future of online marketing. You don't even need a website. All you need is PowerPoint or Keynote and an internet connection, and you can be in business. But what you have to do is create a compelling slideshow that fills your viewers with emotion. You have to get them involved emotionally. They have to feel where you're coming from. They have to understand and connect with you. And you do this through your slideshow. So how do you do this? Well, it's by sharing a story. So here's my story. I started back in 1999. I was working so hard to build my business and my client base. I was putting in tons and tons of hours, and I was working by hourly. I was working for an hourly rate, and I was working so hard. Like I said, doing up to 50 webinars in one day. And I tell you what, at $150 an hour, although that sounds like good money, I was still trading my time for dollars, and it was not all it's cracked up to be. That $150 an hour I was charging was absolutely nothing compared to what my clients were making. Sometimes upwards of $1 million or more from just one webinar. So you've got $300 or you've got $1 million. So I was thinking, what is fair about that? And that's what caught me. That's what had me say, wait a second, what am I doing? I could absolutely do this too. I was doing all the work. I was providing the technology, the support, and the knowledge. I was on the hook and I was the responsible one. All they had to do was tell me which one to play. I always had to show up. Most of the time, they didn't even need to be there. They didn't even need to be on the webinar. And I wasn't getting paid what I thought I deserved. Anyone in that position right now where you're selling for someone else or doing all the grunt work for someone else and you'd like to be selling for yourself? Well, it is completely possible. So here's what you have to do in order to create a story. You have to describe what the problem is you're solving. In my case, I was tired of working for someone else for a lower dollar amount when I could make so much more money. We have to define who that target audience is and who is it that you're speaking to and what kind of problem is your target audience having. Describe these challenges in detail. Once you can get all the way through this, now all of a sudden you actually have magic. Then you're also going to start talking about your story and your history and all that together, and now you've got it. And remember this, the lower the low in the presentation, the more you sell. So you've got to keep that in mind when you're going through your presentation. So let me show you how simple it is to create a converting presentation with my template system in literally just a few minutes. Now I'm going to uncover the way to create a winning presentation that makes you more money. When your presentation is structured in a certain way and contains the right pieces, you will have a formula for making money for yourself time after time after time. So let me give you an example of a presentation for just a little product you could sell online. Now, most of you are familiar with Microsoft Office, right? Well, we've probably all used Microsoft Office at one time. And at those times, we probably even call it the necessary evil because there are so many things that you can do with it. But we can never remember what we can do with it, right? Well, so here's the presentation that I just created right here very quickly to share with you how you can actually get people to buy even a $47 product. So this is called Microsoft Office, the quickest and fastest way to producing amazing spreadsheets without remembering all the details. So there's my name, there's my photo. Obviously that's not me, but include your photo so that you can build rapport with your audience. Then we have to say all the who, what, why, where of who we are and how of you. And for example, I work with Microsoft Office products since 1985, and I've helped small and large companies to increase their productivity through my simple steps and shortcuts, saving the average business person over 200 hours a year working with Microsoft products. My clients are global and I work from my laptop. I conduct weekly group training webinars and also consulting. I work in the Mac platform, and also the PC platform. So it doesn't matter really. I work with both. So let's talk about Excel, this necessary evil. How many times have you actually wanted to do something with Excel, but you couldn't remember the formula? You couldn't even remember how to do it. Well, then you do a Google search for the answer, and that takes forever because there's a bunch of YouTube videos, and you watch the videos, and those don't work, and then you waste a bunch of time watching those, and it's still not the answer that you're looking for. Or maybe you've bothered a coworker or a partner. Maybe you're embarrassed to ask a stupid question when it's really not stupid at all. It's just that you forgot how to do it, what you've done before. And then you feel generally frustrated, right? Well, because you could waste a half an hour or more trying to figure out something really, really simple. But think about this though. Here's the solution. Now you could put all of these on different slides as well. I'm going to share with you some of these insider secrets. These are the shortcuts. Here's just a slide with some graphics of some of what the main shortcuts and formulas are. But the point is this, We talk about the pain, we talk about the suffering, we talk about the emotion of not knowing what to do, not getting the answer, wasting a bunch of time, 200 hours a year. And now we're talking about the solution, right? Which is these insider secrets. So here's a slide with some insider secrets. Here are even some more tips for building value. This happens to be how do you apply borders to cells, and these can also be put on separate slides as well. So then I ask, do you think these strategies could help you save time and money? Imagine being that Excel guru amongst all of your peers, your Excel spreadsheets wowing your viewers, saving a huge amount of time, having more time to do the things that you want to do, and best of all, having more fun. That's what it's about, right? So if you could get that Excel job done faster, make it look more beautiful, make it more effective, you now are the guru around your peers and you'll be sharing information with them. So here's the next part. I come and show you just a glimpse of the available strategies and shortcuts and tips I have available. The fact is this, you could keep doing it the same way that you've been doing and wasting time. You could keep searching online, you could keep searching Google, asking your peers, maybe asking some pretty dumb questions from time to time. And you're asking the same things over and over again, wasting time and not having these beautiful, effective spreadsheets. Or you could do it the easy way. So, how many of you would like to have this information at your fingertips with just a click of a button? I call it the Excel one-click shortcuts. That includes lifetime unlimited access to membership area. The value is $9.97. There's the iOS and Android shortcut app with the shortcuts right there on your phone or your iPad or your tablet. That's a value of $4.97. And then we've got the monthly group webinars for sharing strategies, shortcuts, and tips, and that has a value of $997. And even a Facebook private group to get you even faster assistance 24/7 with other students and support staff at a value of $997. Imagine having all of this at your fingertips, even new strategies all the time going into the membership area because it's being shared by all the users. This has a total value of $3,488. Now, let me just ask you something. If you could save just 200 hours a year, would that be worth the $3,488? Okay, so let me ask, think about this. You work 40 hours a week, and 200 hours would be about 5 weeks, and that's for $3,488. A huge, huge value that anyone would pay for. How much would you pay for a 5-week vacation? Well, I tell you that, much, much more than that. So how many of you have just $47? That's all it takes to get you in. Just go to exceloneclickshortcuts.com/live. $47 is all it is. In fact, you're in for life. Just $47 one time. Just go to exceloneclickshortcuts.com/live. This is your ticket to get your 200 hours back per year and being the guru in your peer group when it comes to using Microsoft Excel. Thank you so much for the presentation. I look forward to seeing you in the membership area and all the great webinars coming up. We'll talk to you really soon. So, can you see how simple it was just to create a quick emotion to appeal to your audience, describing a problem and then providing a solution that everyone wants to buy? Well, 15,000 webinars in 15 years. I've learned a thing or two. I work with my clients every day and I advise them on how to do better. I'm going to show you an example of a student who did their webinar before consulting with me and then after consulting with me. So here's the example of the before the client came to work with me. Do you see something happening in the graph? See, what do you notice? Yep, right there, an incredible dip. You can see it in this moment, something went wrong in the presentation and he lost more than 50% of his viewers halfway through. What happened? Well, there wasn't much interaction with the viewers. He lost his audience, completely disconnected from them. I don't even have to listen to the webinar to know that something happened here. And he got less than 5% conversion. That's 5 sales out of 100. That's less than minimum wage, guys. Who wants less than minimum wage these days? Imagine if you're paying for good leads to get people into your webinar and you just lost half of them because of a simple mistake. You lost the audience and he never fully recovered. So after I went through the webinar and the presentation and I added my input and we did another one, and look at the difference. It's incredible. No one left until the sales closed at the end, and they stayed on. The number kept growing and growing. The people were engaged, they were interacting, and the sales were 30%. Now, when you get 30 sales out of 100, now we're talking some big money. And who wants to risk losing half their viewers because they happen to have made a stupid mistake? Well, when all you have to do is join my program. So think about this. Before, 5 sales out of 100, less than minimum wage. And then after, 30 sales out of 100. Now, when you get 30 sales out of 100, let's say your product is $3,000. That's $90,000 in revenue. Like I said, now we're talking some money. Now, some of you may not be making that in an entire year, and we can do that in just 90 minutes. And then I want you to take a look at this. This webinar was done just the other day, and from this one, there are 7 appointments scheduled for tomorrow alone. And this is with that same client. Made just a few more tweaks with the webinar, and look what happened. This means a 50% registration rate, and that is huge. Imagine having 50% of people on your webinar register for your product. What would that mean to you? So now you understand the difference between potentially making minimum wage or less, or making big money. And that was all because of a change in the presentation. That was it. So let's cover some even more benefits of doing a webinar. There's the convenience of doing it in your own home. You can do it from anywhere in the world if there's Wi-Fi. There's no more having to go to the office. You can leverage your time. The amount of people that you can reach is incredible. It's very automated. In fact, it's the most automated business online. There's no website needed, and you don't even need an email list. So let me ask you, out of these things right here, how many of you want to be a part of doing a webinar? Alrighty, yep, I see the hands going up. Yep, thank you, awesome, awesome, good to know. And I tell you what, like I said, you can even do this from the convenience of your own home, even naked. Ah, isn't he cute? So here's actually more of what you'll probably look like when you're doing a webinar. You're smiling, you're sitting up straight, you have your headset on so that you can be heard. You can do this from anywhere in the world you wish, and really that is the beauty of it all, guys. So now you've got your presentation ready to go. You've got it looking great, looking snappy. Now let's do the webinar. So I've shown you all these different tips and strategies in order to have your emotional presentation. Well, here's how to get it right. First, always start on time and have at least 2 hosts on at the same time. And what I mean by this is have someone else to back you up in another network, not in the same home or on the same network. You've got to be somewhere else. That way, if you lose power internet in one place, you have it in another so that you don't lose sales. And mentally prepare yourself for what you're about to do, because this is the difference between winning and not winning. Imagine that you're about to run the race of your life, and you've studied the course, you know where you have to make your turns, you know where you need to be on the track. You're going through, in your head exactly step by step where you're going to be at in that moment, being ahead of the pack, going around the turn and beating everyone else. Your mind has to be in it. It's literally just like a race. You have to know every slide, exactly where you're going to do on every slide all the way through. You see it in your head and you're ready to start. When you're delivering your presentation, be excited about your product or service and what you're talking about in your presentation. It absolutely comes through in how you speak and the inflections in your voice. And your audience will be able to get that emotion and energy in your voice. Be prepared. Smile. They can tell if you're not. They can feel it. Can you tell that I'm smiling? The next thing is you have to engage your audience with questions and by mentioning their names online. Let's say, how many of you have heard of this? Or raise your hand if you know the answer to this. Keep them in the game and you're going to have more sales. Interact with the audience. Ask them what kinds of problems they have. Maybe ask them what kinds of businesses they have. Things like that so you can help them. Clarify those problems and ask them what's stopping them from getting the results they're looking for. Because when you can get that out of your viewers, you're now going to have a magical webinar where your viewers are connecting with you emotionally and they're going to buy from you. Now, I'm not really crazy about this, but this is a fact. 90 minutes will get you the highest conversion. I would love to say 15 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe even 45, but 90 minutes is the highest conversion. So you really have to stick with that. Now, in order to do a 90-minute webinar, you're going to have about 100 slides. That's what it takes. You think about a minute or so per slide in that 90-minute webinar. So before the webinar, make sure that you communicate with your participants via email to make sure that they arrive early and to download the GoToWebinar software and check that it's the right presentation. You absolutely never want to start with the wrong presentation. Many of us have the same presentations over and over again, and maybe they all have different endings, or maybe there's a different offer. Maybe it's a completely different product, but it all starts off the same. Make sure you make the effort to have the right presentation to play because you don't want to be embarrassed at the end. You will lose credibility and you will absolutely, without a doubt, you will lose sales. Also, ensure that your sales process is working. Your autoresponders are working, your buy now buttons are working. Make sure that it's all working properly. I have been on webinars with clients before where they didn't do this and their sales pages, let's say, they weren't working and they lost money as a result of that. So this is a big one, guys. Make sure that you've properly ended the webinar, because if you haven't and you start talking or change your screen, what's going to happen is some of your viewers are going to see what you're doing and also maybe hear what you're saying. So make sure that the webinar has ended before you do anything. Keep it silent even for a couple of minutes and then make sure that everything is shut down and turned off. Then you can start talking and go to any screens that you want. Also, save the recorded webinar. You never know when you're going to have a good one. And I have to tell you, when you do, you know it. It's like hitting it out of the park. You can feel it all the way through. The energy is great. The interaction's great. And like I said, always record your webinar because when you've got that winning one, it's amazing. And also, I would tell you to store it at Amazon S3. That absolutely works the best. And be sure to go to the restroom before the webinar. Otherwise, you could lose sales if you leave. And be sure not to use animations and lots of transitions or moving images or words in your presentation. What they do is they end up taking up too much bandwidth and really ruin your attendees' viewing experience. And don't clutter your slides with too many images and words. This becomes confusing and distracting to your audience. Make sure that your audience is always muted. This can create a lot of background noise and distract your viewers from your message and presentation, as well as make sure your audience cannot see other viewers' questions or comments. This can be very distracting, and we want to keep our viewers focused on our presentation and on our message, not these outside distractions. In addition, make sure that you don't have any noises going on in the background where you are. Maybe a dog, maybe you've got the window open and there's street noise coming through. Maybe your kids are running and playing in the background. This can distract your audience as well as you. or it can get you out of your groove of the presentation. It needs to be very quiet so that you can keep your viewers focused on your message. You know, that noise is going to interrupt you and take you away from your train of thought. So just don't have any of that around so you can focus on the presentation. And also turn your phone off. Log out of Skype. Turn your chat programs off. Turn your notifications off. FaceTime this. All the distracting applications that you have on your computer, turn them off, shut them down. And never do a webinar from a mobile phone or a tablet. When this happens, you lose your audience and your sales. You know, the signal can go in and out, and it's not as consistent as using a computer. And be sure not to send your audience anywhere outside of your webinar until it's time to give them the URL to buy or to sign up or to participate. Once they leave, you have lost them and your sale. So what this means is, don't put a logo at the beginning of your webinar presentations. Save it for the end. Don't put your domain name, or don't put anything like that. Don't put any branding at the beginning, because people will be off searching the internet while you're speaking to them, and they won't even be paying attention to anything that you're saying. And you really want to avoid doing webinars outside, because in the sun you could overheat or possibly burn, and in the wind it can cause a lot of distracting background noise, as well as your audience really not being able to hear you very clearly. So now that you know the most important rules of conducting a webinar, now let's talk about getting people to your webinar. In order to sell 1 to 1,000, we use Facebook. We invite people to a webinar. We go to Facebook and create an event, invite those people to that event. And here's an example of a Facebook event right here. You see the nice, beautiful graphic. You've got Authority Fusion, and here's what it says. This is a zero pitch webinar. It's just joining and learning. They'll register in droves for a webinar. You can also do a Facebook ad to a highly targeted audience to get your registrants to your webinar. So, how many of you have an ATM machine at home? A webinar is an absolutely live ATM machine, and a passive one. Look at that. Just an ATM machine pushing out cash 24/7. So what you're about to discover is the incredible power of having your business run 24/7 while you're not. You'll get a whole new perspective on life. See the possibilities. Know the right pieces to put in play. No more chasing your tail ever again, because these replay webinars will be working for you when you're not. And you can accomplish this with this little box right here. So you record your webinar, you upload it to Amazon S3, you have it ready to go for what's called a Like Live, and you use this little box. This is a big one, guys. This is why I've done 15,000 webinars over the last 15 years with the top marketers around the world, because of this little thing right here. You have to have this box. What it does is an incredible little thing, which I'm going to share with you. It's going to make your video recording look and sound live to the audience. This is something that's incredibly special. Now you have your webinar recorded and it's converting. Now you have something for replay and Like Live. So what's Like Live? Well, you plug this little box into the audio in and audio out. And when you press play on your video, the audio goes into the box and converted back into audio into your computer, so that when it's playing, the audio is separate. This is what all the big guys are doing, but they don't even have the box, because I do. Now, you can start doing what the big guys are doing and have Like Live webinars. And this is why I've done the 15,000 over the last 15 years, because I make the recording look like live. This is what we want to do every time. In fact, I'll tell you what, my clients, I don't even sell this to them. They have offered me thousands of dollars for this, and I have never, ever, ever sold it to them. They don't have it. But I have an offer for you today where you can get it for free. So now you have a passive way of making money into the future. You've got your webinar recorded. It's ready to go whenever you want to run it again. And you can JV and make money passively from their list as well. You can even have someone else play it for you like live. That's something to think about. So you have two ways to make money right now. One is with live webinars, and one is with like live webinars or replays. So how many of you want to make $5,000 a month? Just raise your hand. Yep, I see some hands coming up. Yep, that's right. So imagine just making $1,000 a week. That's $4,000 a month right there. And every once in a while, you get that extra week in your month, and there's your $5,000. Now you're at $60,000, literally passive. So, ready to make a shift? My ultimate tip, though, you will not have real or passive income unless you actually do it. If you don't do them, then they will never make you big money. And this is what most people fail to do. They just don't do the webinar. So you don't have a face for video? Well, that's okay. You have a face for webinars. No camera needed, just a computer and your voice, you PowerPoint or Keynote, and Wi-Fi. And no one has to look at you. You could be in bed doing your webinar. So would it be okay if I showed you how I can help you even more than I have today? How do you know my program will work for you? Well, you know, I have testimonial after testimonial from the top guys around the planet that are doing webinars. Here's one from Ryan Dice. We've been using Taryn Ashley's services for as long as we've been doing webinars. She and her team are the only company that I know of that can do simultaneous webinars, which we need. We wouldn't trust anyone else. Thank you. So here's Brendan Burke. He didn't even have a product. And a couple days later, created a presentation, did a webinar, and made $6,500 in his first webinar in 90 minutes. That's crazy, but it is totally possible. And you can do this all yourself. I've just shown you how. I've shown you how to create an emotional slideshow to get more buyers. I've shown you how to create a winning presentation that makes you more in 90 minutes than most make in a year, how to sell 1 to 1,000, and how to set up your business to run 24/7 with Like Live. But the fact is, there's no comparison to the benefits of my program. Now, if I could make this entire program extremely affordable to own, who would be interested in getting involved right now? Oh, look at the hands. I see the hands going up. Everybody wants in. That's great. So, because you've made the effort to be here, I'm going to make a special offer today. Raise your hand if you'd be interested in doing it the easy way. Wow, thank you so much. Awesome, I'm honored. So my solution is webinar formulas. So here's what you get. You get my converting template so that you can create a high converting presentation just like the big guys. All you have to do is go to webinarformulas.com/live and click on the button to get going right away. You know, I don't have many spots available. However, let's get started right away. The first one in wins. You're going to learn how to create a winning webinar, how to use PowerPoint and Keynote. Now, guys, how many of you know how to use PowerPoint and Keynote? Well, let me tell you something. There are some tricks. There are some little strategies that could really make your life easier and help you have a smashing presentation. I'm going to teach you how to use Camtasia. All right, guys, I'm back. I'm back in. It appears that you lost me there for a second, so I am going to go back to the presentation. All right, we're just going to zip right through to where we were. All right, so it appears that you lost me at Camtasia. So just going back through, like I said, the last thing I said was I am going to show you how to use Camtasia to edit, render, and your video for your videos. I'm also going to show you how to use ScreenFlow to edit and get your videos for replay and like live. And you'll see here in a second when I get back to this. You know, I'm also going to help you set up to get a GoToWebinar account. And this is extremely important. You need to know how to schedule your webinars, how to use GoToWebinar, how to generate those reports. And really, this is the most important part, is generating those reports. You've got to be able to read those. I'm going to show you how to get a domain name for your webinar registration page, your sales page, and to run your webinar like live. I'm going to show you how to get a WebEx account if that's what you choose. I'm also going to show you how to get a Webinars on Air account. This is the Google product that we're using right now. I'm also going to show you how to set up your autoresponders so that you can build your database and your list so that you can sell more to your audience. This is extremely important. I'm going to share with you how we create converting sales pages very, very quickly for these webinars. And I'm going to show you how to use Infusionsoft with your GoToWebinar account. There's a little trick in Infusionsoft that is what I call crazy amazing, where you can literally invite your entire database to a webinar. And those people in your database, they didn't actually sign up, but because they've opted in, they go right in. I'm going to show you how to use Amazon S3 to host your Like Live videos. I'm going to show you how to use YouTube to host your Like Live videos, as well as Vimeo, and also Wistia to host your Like Live videos. Listen, there's a lot of options out there. You want to be able to take advantage of these. Some are less expensive than others, and some work better than others. Most importantly, I'm going to show you how to set yourself apart from your competition. Your competition, if they're doing webinars, is going to be so far behind you, it'll be incredible. Remember, my Rolodex is the top 100 marketers around the planet. Imagine having these skills, the 15,000 webinars of experience that I have, that you can now have these skills to be able to beat your competition and have profound sales results as a result of doing webinars. Just think about that. I'm going to help you set up profitable JV relationships where you can actually sell your products and services to someone else's list. Or when you have a list, maybe they can sell their products or services to your list where you can actually make some fast money. I'm going to show you how to position yourself as a middleman for easy profits. Look, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And if you're in the middle, you can make a lot of money with very little effort. I'm going to show you how you can position yourself as an expert even if you're not. No expertise needed, believe it or not. You don't even have to be an expert. I'm going to show you how to create a product from your competition's products. And then on top of that, how about making huge money creating white label of your product to let other people sell it? And you can build your database having other people sell your products under their brand, but it's really yours. And you're able to build your database and a list for yourself and make big money. Imagine this. We call it business in a box. What we do is we have a product. Let's just give you an example, like the Microsoft Excel product that I talked about earlier. How many of you would like to have that little Microsoft Excel product as your own, right? You could have your own domain, you could have your own sales page, you could do your own webinar. You could be selling it to your list and making all the money. That's what it's all about, and that's what's called white labeling, or we call it business in a box. I'm going to share with you how to create your own online ATM machine, paying you around the clock. Just go to webinarformulas.com/live. I'm going to show you how to create a database in just a few days using Facebook of all the things to build a huge, huge database. So here's an example right here. 5,185 people registered for a single webinar in just 48 hours. Imagine if 5,000 people registered for your webinar. You could literally get 1,000 people on your webinar. And if you have a 20% conversion rate, you're going to have 200 sales at whatever the amount is right from this database in 2 days. Who here wants an additional 5,000 people in your database in just 2 days? Yep, I see the hands coming up right now. I agree. Just go to webinarformulas.com/live. That's webinarformulas.com/LIVE. I'm also going to show you how to use all the social media platforms to get this targeted traffic. And then also what you must know about merchant accounts. This is the buy now button, right? You've got to know the secrets and the ins and the outs. And also how to set up your own webinar system. Maybe you'd like to do webinars for other people. How about that? How many businesses do you know that would love to do webinars, but they're not? And you can actually do them for a percentage of the sales. I'm going to give you that blueprint for generating limitless income. It's my blueprint. It's what I've done 15,000 times, and it's now going to be yours. And this is a big one, guys. This is something that you'll never see anywhere else. I'm going to give you the top 5 performing recorded webinars that have generated my clients millions. And these are yours. You can review their videos, these webinars, and you can create an exact duplicate of their presentation. Just change your product for theirs, and now you've got magic. You also get unlimited lifetime access to the Webinar Formulas membership area. It's members only and it's private. Also, we're going to have monthly group coaching calls online to answer any questions and to give you support. We will also have a private Facebook group for you. This is the Facebook group where literally you can ask questions 24/7, and our staff is going to be there as well as other users, and you can get help even faster. On top of that, you get one-on-one coaching, 3 easy steps to get your webinar going. And if you work really hard at it, you could have your webinar up and going in 2 or 3 weeks. But listen to this, it takes effort and you've got to do it. I'm going to share with you how to make a money-making membership business that makes thousands of dollars a month in residual income just in the membership area. And then also on top of that is how to be an expert in your niche and get paid for it, even if you're not. Isn't that amazing? You can be an expert even if you're not. So let's go through this really quickly. I'm going to show you how to create a winning webinar, how to use PowerPoint, edit, add, delete, how to use Camtasia to edit, render, and modify all your videos, how to use ScreenFlow to edit and render and modify all your videos, how to set up a GoToWebinar account, how to use GoToWebinar, starting, running, everything in between, and how to generate reports. These alone have a value of $2,779. Then on top of that, how to get a domain, how to get a WebEx account, how to get a Webinars on Air account, how to set up an autoresponder, how to create a sales page, how to use Infusionsoft with your GoToWebinar account, and how to use Amazon S3 for your videos, and how to use YouTube for your videos. These alone have a value of $3,176. Then there's how to use Vimeo for your videos and Wistia, setting yourself apart from your competition. This is a big one, guys. How to create JV relationships, how to use Google to market your webinars, how to position yourself as a middleman for easy profits, and how to create a product from your competition, as well as how to white label your product for extra profits. These by themselves have a value of $3,176. Then there's how to drive traffic for your webinars, how to create a product from experts, how to create a database in just a few days, how to use Facebook to market your webinars, how to use LinkedIn to market your webinars, how to use YouTube to market your webinars, and then the important things that you need to know about merchant accounts. These by themselves have a value of $3,176. And on top of that, how to set up a PayPal account, how to create a buy now button, how to set up your own webinar system, and my blueprint for generating limitless income, and also the proven webinar formulas used by the globe's top marketers, how to create a money-making membership business that makes thousands of dollars a month in residual income, and how to be an expert in your niche and get paid for it. These have a value of $2,779. Then there's the one-on-one coaching with a loan of value of $3,997. Then there's the template to create a high converting presentation. And this is the magic, guys. It's the presentation. This has a value of $1,997. Then the lifetime access to Webinar Formulas membership area, a value of $2,997. Then you've got the monthly group coaching calls with a value of $997, as well as the private Facebook group with a value of $997. This all has a value, just these, of $10,985. Just go to webinarformulas.com/live to get in. And then on top of that, guys, this is the big one right here, the special bonus. This is huge. Like I said earlier, I've never done this before. I'm going to give you a Like Live interface box. It's going to be shipped straight to you so that you can do your replays right away with this Like Live box. Like I said, my clients don't even have this, but my students do. This has a value of $397, but actually, really, it's priceless. Because like I said, my clients have offered me thousands of dollars for this box, and I have never sold it to them, and I won't, but I'm giving it to you. And another special bonus is I have an ebook on how to make money in 90 minutes. It's called Taryn Ashley's 90-Minute Online ATM Machine. No website needed. This has a value of $397. Guys, this is a total value, bonuses and all, of $26,865. So how many of you have $497? If you have $497, we can actually get you started right now. Just go to webinarformulas.com/live. And then it's just five easy payments of $497, and that's it. So $497 today and 5 easy payments of $497. Now, guys, if you have a product that's even, let's say, $100, in the first 30 days, don't you think you could do a webinar and we could sell 5 of those? This would make your payments, right? Imagine if your product was even higher, let's say a $497 product. One sale pays for your payments. If you made 1 sale a month, this is free. How many of you would like an even better deal than that? Well, just one payment of $2,997 saves you $493. And again, some of you have higher price products. One sale maybe is all it takes to have this entire program for free. Just go to webinarformulas.com/live. Again, guys, this has a total value of $26,865. Listen, guys, don't let money keep you from achieving your dreams. Don't let that happen. If you're having a money issue and you can't come up with a $497, I want you to go ahead and message me now in the chat box. Don't worry, it's private. No one can see it. And I want you to give me your email address and your Skype ID, and I'll talk to you afterwards. Let's see if we can work something out. But like I said, don't let money keep you from achieving your dreams. Everyone, I'm Taryn Ashley. Thank you so much for your time and your effort to be here. I hope you have learned a huge amount from this webinar, and I absolutely look forward to seeing you inside Webinar Formulas.
Wow, Taryn, that was really, really good. Gosh, there was so much information there. And every time you share the information, it gets better and better, and there's more and more. I'm learning every time. So thank you so much, Taryn, for that. I see a few questions here in the chat box. So you ready for some questions, Taryn?
Sure.
Okay, so when someone actually joins today, what are the next steps for them? What will happen?
So the next step is you will get your login information for the membership area. I want you to go in there and I want you to start watching the first couple of videos so that we can get you sort of, I guess, the onboarding process, and we can get you creating your presentation, especially watching that video and all the information that we have on how to create that winning presentation. Those are your
Yep.
first couple steps, and we'll get you going.
Great. Okay, so here's another one here. Taryn, I've never used PowerPoint before. Is PowerPoint difficult for me to learn?
Absolutely not. PowerPoint, although it may seem daunting to some, it's really not. And you know what? We've got that covered in the membership area as well. I go through a whole tutorial on how to use PowerPoint, so you can tackle that monster.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, and here's another one here. Oh my gosh, I'm just being taken over by a bunch of people in the lobby. Sorry for the noise, guys. The next question is that how long and how much time should I budget to getting this project so that I can actually start making money on a webinar? What does it actually take?
So, well, it takes, I would say, I would allot maybe, like I said earlier, maybe 2 to 3 weeks from beginning to end. And this is if you are working, you're committed, going through the entire process, doing what you need to do, working through every single step. I would say maybe 2 to 3 weeks. That's like I said.
2 to 3 weeks. Yep.
Right. Being absolutely in it.
Good, good, good. And if I don't, here's another one. If I don't have a product, can you help me with finding a product for me?
Yes, absolutely. We've got some options for you.
Excellent. Okay. And can I do webinars as an affiliate? Let's say I go find an affiliate relationship with somebody. Can I do webinars as an affiliate?
Absolutely. We have several clients who all they are is affiliates. They have no products or services of their own. They are strictly affiliates, and that's how they make their money, and they do really well at it. So yes.
Here's another one. If I am just about ready to finish a book, can I do a webinar to sell the book?
Yes, you can. I wouldn't advise that to be your, making you millions, but you absolutely can. This can sort of be what I call a introductory into your upsells, your bigger offers. So yes.
So the idea is use the book as maybe lead gen and then have some maybe consulting or coaching and that kind of thing as an upsell, right?
Correct.
Okay, great. Here's another one. What is your #1 traffic method for getting registrants?
Facebook, hands down.
Yep, for sure, right? And then also, do you or have you done any type of text notification to see if you can get a better result for attendees?
You know what? We have, and I have to tell you, with that, honestly, it all depends on the industry. Some of my clients have found that it works amazing for them, and others, they completely abandoned the whole concept. It really depends on the industry that you're in as to if that's really going to work. But it's absolutely possible. It's absolutely doable.
Well, the other thing is it depends on what countries you're working with as well. If you're international, texting may be much more difficult and much more expensive than just in one country alone, right?
Right.
Okay, so here's another question here, Taryn. I am deathly afraid of speaking. Are you sure webinars are something that I could do where I don't have to have that fear?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Nobody has to see you. So it's not like you're standing in front of a room of 100, 200 people and all eyes are on you. Don't worry about it. With the webinars, that it completely removes that fear.
So,
It
so you
complete
have like a curtain, and the computer is your curtain, and you're behind the curtain, right?
right. Just think of the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So you don't have to have a fear of speaking. In fact, I know a lot of people who do webinars who actually can't speak live. They can't speak in person, but they can do
Mhm.
webinars incredibly well, just because they just become comfortable with the microphone, and then they just go. Here's a question here, Taryn. What is a good performing microphone for doing webinars?
Very, very good question. So I would have to tell you that a nice sort of middle of the road safe bet would be a Logitech. But quite frankly, to get started so you don't have to spend, hundreds of dollars, is you could even use uh, the what I call the earbud that comes with your cell phone. But there are some, I would say that you'll find with Logitech, their series of products is a nice safe bet and not astronomical.
Excellent. And you know what? I use my iPhone 6 Plus earbuds, and they work pretty well. They have
Hmm.
noise canceling in them as well. So you can start off with just your phone, and then go later once you're making money and go get something that is much more professional and hides even more noise. But your earbuds are generally, if you've got a smartphone, Android, or Apple iPhone, it works just fine.
Hmm.
Here's a comment here, Taryn. This is great. I've seen so many webinars. This is the first product that takes care of all the details. I'm so excited. Thanks, Doug, for that. That's awesome. Look, you know what? We're running down to the end of the webinar. And do you have any last final words that you have to say to everyone?
I do. I want to thank everyone for spending their most valuable asset with me is their time. And like I said, don't let these small little obstacles get in your way of achieving what you've always wanted. Just put your head down and just keep walking forward and join us in the membership area. We're here to support you. We're here to help you get through this, overcome this,
Yep.
and just skyrocket your success. And I
Yep. Excellent.
cannot wait to see all of you.
Excellent. So, guys, go to webinarformulas.com/live. That's webinarformulas.com/live. Take advantage of this offer now. This is the way to get you started. It's just $497, get you going. And think about this, guys, for just a second. If you had a $97 product and you sold just 5 of those a month off of one webinar, you've just made your money back. You've covered your costs. But imagine if you sold 20 or 30 of those $100 products in a month. Now you're making money right away. This is by far the fastest way to make money online without even having to have a list, without even having to have a website. This is the way to do it. Take advantage of this right now. I'm going to sign off now, Taryn, just because I value everyone's time. Thank you so much for being here, and we will see you in the membership area. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Alrighty, bye everyone.